Go ahead and start with your name and what branch and your dates of service.
Justin Dimmitt, U.S. Navy Seabees from June of 2006 to June of 2011 for active duty, and then 2012 to 2015 for reserves.
And were you drafted or did you enlist?
Enlisted.
Okay, and why?
I always wanted to, I was going to join the military, just a matter of which branch.
And why did you pick the branch that you did?
My dad, he swayed me into the Navy.
And why specifically the Seabees?
He had a couple friends of his that were Seabees, and with him being a little bit of time in the Marines that he did and knew a lot of Marines, he knew that the Seabees would be a good fit for me.
And how old were you at the time?
I was 17.
And what do you recall from your first days?
Boot camp wasn't horrible, but it had its sucky moments.
How'd you get through it?
Letters from home helped a lot. Just kept telling myself that I could do it and get it done.
What type of work did you perform when you were in the service for the Seabees?
I was a equipment operator, operated heavy equipment from forklifts, loaders, all the way up to dozers, cranes, excavators.
What did they teach you in that line of service?
A lot of basic construction, earth moving type stuff. Discipline, obviously that I feel like discipline was always an ever changing thing that we always learned.
Where did you serve? Like division, unit?
I was in Naval Mobile Construction Battalion 4, out of Port Hueneme, California. Stationed there, so that was always home. But first deployment went to Guam in Australia, and then second deployment Kuwait, a little bit of Iraq, and then third deployment was Afghanistan.
And did you serve during a war?
Yeah.
Yes. And any combat?
A little bit, not a whole lot.
Tell me a little bit about experiencing war and what you saw there. And
I think a lot of people are just, they expect it to be like they see in the movies, but it's nowhere near that. Being with your friends and being with the right people, and it can make any situation better.
Where was your objective at?
It was northern Afghanistan. Mazar Sharif is what the region's called.
What did you believe at the time was at stake in the war, and what did you think you were fighting for?
At the time, a lot of people didn't really know what we were fighting for. I mean, we got there and our in-country briefings that we always got, first couple of weeks that we're there, even had high-ranking generals tell you, nobody knows why we're here right now, but this is our job, and basically that was our objective. Our job was to build bases.
And how did that experience change your belief of how it is overseas in combat?
It opened my eyes up a little bit. Like I said, a lot of people think it's, what they see in the movies, but it's not nowhere near that. It's just something you need to, experience yourself to really get the feel for it. A lot of it depends on who you're with and what you're doing.
How did you feel about the enemy, and how do you feel about them now?
Thought they were dirtbags then. I think they're dirtbags now, really. I mean, it didn't really change. There's good people over there,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think they're just terrible people. We just need to turn it into a glass parking lot and bomb them. But, there's good people over there, but just like anything, you're going to have your bad people too,
Mm-hmm. Did you write home often?
I didn't write home a whole lot. Got a lot of packages from home. Was able to call quite a bit, so that was nice.
When you were overseas, were there specific things that kind of reminded you of home every now and then?
Fields, some of the, just seeing the massive fields. Not really any cornfields like Nebraska, but you had poppy fields and different kinds of wheat fields and stuff like that. Right. So that just the massive fields kind of reminded me of home.
And then once you got home, what were you looking forward to most?
Seeing my family, and then when I got back to California, the first thing was In-N-Out Burger.
What do you think people should know about what you went through, and what do we need to remember?
Just remember that there's people still losing their lives over there. They would gladly lay down their lives just like I would have. But
Tell me about some of your most memorable experiences when you were deployed.
just the friends, making friends. You really know who's on your side. Once you're in a crappy situation, and you could go into it not knowing a guy or female even. But then later on, 8 months down the line, you've done a lot of things with those people, and you got a whole new respect for people that you didn't even know.
Any specific experiences that you can remember that were really memorable with those people?
Just the horsing around and pranks and stuff like that, getting to know each other really.
Were you awarded any medals or citations?
I was awarded an Army Achievement Medal because we were there with Army unit is actually who we were assigned under.
Anything else?
Just your basic ones, really. Your rifle and pistol. I got sharpshooter and expert. Sharpshooter on rifle and expert on pistol. And then you get your NATO. Going over there, you get a NATO medal. You get Global War on Terrorism medal.
So how did you get promoted?
The promotion process while I was in was you have to have an eval, and it has to be a promotable eval. And then after that, you have to take a skills test. They have it twice a year, and if you pass the test, that's good. But as long as you have a promotable eval, if you pass the test and don't have a promotable eval, then you don't get promoted.
So what was the highest rank that you achieved in that?
E4.
So you mentioned letters and calling a little bit, and how was it to stay in touch with your family, and did that help you at all?
Oh, my family was everything to me. They helped me through a lot of it. It was nice just to either receive a package, from mom and dad, whether it was snack food or gloves or whatever they would send, and talking to them on the phone whenever I could it really helped me through.
How was the food that they gave you?
The food itself, most of it sucked. Most of it was MREs or just stuff that our cooks kind of threw together. We got really lucky though. We went to a German base a lot. We got to eat some of their good food. They actually had a chow hall and real food. Always stole brownies from there.
So how much pressure or stress did you feel that when you were doing your job?
It had its moments, but for the most part, like I said, the people that you're with help out a lot. They become your friends, your best friends. So it kind of helps alleviate some of the stress, knowing that you're with somebody that cares just about you as you do about them.
Any job specifically that you can remember was really stressful compared to the other ones?
The runway in Australia was kind of stressful because we had a deadline to get the runway done, but at the same time it wasn't stressful.
You want to elaborate a little more on that Australia runway and that story a little bit?
Yeah, our unit went to Guam, and then from Guam we got sent to Australia. We were with, it's actually called a Joint Task Force. So basically the Navy, Air Force, Army, Marines, a little bit of everybody in there, and then the Australian Air Force and Army were there also. And we built a runway, a fully capable runway, capable of C-17 and C-130 to land on, all out of dirt and concrete. Basically, it's just you mix dirt, water, and concrete together, and it makes a hard, compacted soil. We did all of it with using Trimble GPS hooked up to the equipment. So, basically, for the most part, all we had to do was sit in the seat and tell it where to go, and so that was pretty cool.
So did you have anything special that you did for good luck before jobs like that?
Tap the CD logo on my door of whatever equipment, that was always my thing, kind of. There was some equipment that didn't have a CD logo on it, because it just got in or whatever, so I would tape a CD logo to the door.
How'd you guys stay entertained over there through all that?
Just a lot of finding, it's kind of like a kid, you find a kid out on the farm, or something, you find your own stuff to do, and Sometimes it's kind of frowned upon, stuff that we decided to do, but for the most part, it was all in good fun.
What did you do when you were on leave?
I came home. Every chance I got, I came home. Like I said, family is real important to me, so came home, seen my family, leave.
Did you go anywhere else when you went on leave?
Yeah, there was one time I went with a girlfriend at the time. She was from Alaska, and we flew up to Alaska. It was after deployment, so her car was up there, and we drove her car back from Alaska, drove through Canada to Nebraska. I actually surprised my parents. They had no clue I was coming. We got in at like midnight, and called my dad, had him unlock the front door, and that was pretty cool. And stayed for a couple days, and then we drove out to California.
And who were in most of those photographs, or what were you doing in those?
Most of them are friends, just trying to capture the friendship and what we were accomplishing,
So who were your closest friendships that maybe you still keep in touch with today, especially?
Yeah, I have a couple friends, Kim and George. They actually ended up getting married, and then Jose, but we call him Taco. We're kind of known as the Ohana Squad because one day before a convoy, we say a prayer before every convoy, and at the end he said, just remember, Ohana means family, and family means no one gets left behind, and that kind of stuck with us, and that's everybody knew us as the Ohana Squad everywhere we went, and yeah, we still keep in touch and see each other at least 3-4 times a year.
So were they doing the same kind of work as
Yeah,
you
they were all equipment operators like myself.
And you said you still continue those relationships today,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Did you keep a journal or anything while you were over there?
Not really. I kept one for my Kuwait deployment, but
And what do you recall from the day that your service ended?
at the time I was relieved. I was happy to just come home and just be done.
Where did your service end? Where were you at?
Port Hueneme, California.
What'd you do afterwards? Right when you got out?
Right when I got out, I took about a month off. Just wanted to just hang out, and kind of hang out with family and stuff like that. And then after that, I started working a couple odds and ends jobs, here and there, and then finally found employment at the county highway department. So that really suited what I did in the Navy as far as operating equipment, and kind of found my niche again,
And did you go back to school afterwards?
Yeah, I did a little bit of schooling. I'm currently in school right now, actually.
Was that education supported by the GI Bill?
Yes.
Did you take any college classes while you were in the service?
No, the opportunity was always there, and I really wish I would have took full advantage of that, but I didn't.
And did you join veteran organizations afterwards?
Yeah, the American Legion. I'm the commander of that post, so I'm real active in that.
What about any reunion?
Every year they have a CB reunion here for the Nebraska CBs. I've been to a couple of those.
And what do you want to do as a career afterwards?
I want to be a business owner.
Anything else you want to add?